Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today? Where we'll be relaxing as per usual. What are we going to talk about? I don't really know, to be honest. Nothing immediately springs to mind. Anyone taking advantage of the Pokemon Pocket Wonder Pick Peak event? I only bring it up because I just did 2 of them now, and I got the cards I wanted. I finally got a copy of Origin Form Palkia. I guess I need a second one if I want to do the Palkia deck, but I don't really. I'm doing it for completion. And I got a second version of Weavile EX, and I was like, wow, okay. Worked pretty well. But good evening, everyone. And now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:05 PM on Friday, April 4th, 2025. Celeste is here. We saw her in the loading screen. So yeah, what are we gonna be talking about today? I don't really know. Let's think about something. I don't know. I feel like most people are talking about a Nintendo Switch 2 right now. Hearing a conversation about it actually reminded me about Nintendo Switch Online, which I'm still paying for. Mind you, I'm the head of a family, I suppose, this group. And honestly, it's probably because I will continue to pay for it, because Animal Crossing backup save is like the only way to do it. But yeah. I mean, I basically told my friends, oh yeah, just like let me know if you still want to be on this and I'll remove you by the start of the next time or something. I don't even know when the last time I paid is. I think it was in February. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. And then, I don't know, I'll get asked if any of my other friends want to be in their place. I don't think most of my friends have actually played on their Switch for a while. Here I am playing every single day. Well, I'm not sure if it counts as every single day, but technically playing every day. Yeah, what else can we talk about? I mean, obviously there's stuff going on in the news. You know, that's probably covered a million times much better by other outlets. I'm not a news outlet, mind you, so let's talk about something as a complete change of topic, you know. I don't know. What's going on in the game sphere right now? The gamosphere. Which is a really weird way to... I mean, obviously it's Nintendo Switch news, I suppose. That's kind of a given. New Gen X trailer? I actually completely forgot it was even coming out, to be honest. I honestly thought it was already out, but I guess it wasn't. I don't know. What should I talk about? It's a great question. I'm just trying to think of something which I haven't thought about for a while. I guess we're gonna have to go with random conversation topic here. Think about something from way far out. Not way far out, but just randomly. I see what gets brought up. For some reason, what came to mind was fish and chips. I think it's because it's quite, I'm not sure traditional is the right word, but it's quite a common thing. Fish and chips on Fridays or whatever. At least it was a thing in our school cafeteria, that there would be fish and chips on Fridays. Which, I don't know what more to say about it. Man, I remember the weird method behind our school cafeteria stuff. Completely crazy, but it was, let me think about it. It was every year had a different order in which they could get into the canteen on each day, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I remember when it was year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11s, right? All had different orders. Or no, that was it. Year 11s could always go in first. And then it would be year 7s, 8, 9s, or 10s on different days could each go in first on a different day, except for year 10s could go in first or second technically twice a week, and year 7s went last twice a week or something like that. That's what I remember in my head. I don't know if that's quite right. It's something along those lines. I don't know why I'm talking about this, the lunch queue. It was an important matter, because I remember, we queued up. The main queue was underneath the cloisters or whatever, and then that's where one year group would queue up, and then the other year group would queue up longer behind them, along with cloisters as well. And then the third year group would wait up around, because it was in a quad sort of area near those cloisters, and they'd queue up around the sort of side, around the main pavilion area. I don't know how else to describe it. That's where there was bulletin boards or something either. And then the teacher on duty there must have been pretty boring for that teacher on duty, just be oh yeah, go in, you know. He has to do some basically manual queue management, if anything. Let some kids go, let some kids You know, I've always, you kind of had to wait. You're not allowed in until the teacher says so. And then he's just like, oh, but the greatest times when you're queuing up at, like, in front of a bulletin board, and he's like, all right, you like come down here, and everyone goes, yeah, and they just like charge down. That's what I remember. And if it wasn't your year group's time to queue up, you just like, I don't know, waited until like lunchtime was halfway over or something. See, but queue time matters. Not because you get into lunch early. Well, I mean, it is technically because you get into the cafeteria earlier, but more so. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But more so because if you didn't go in early enough, sometimes the year groups in front of you would buy all the like nice foods or whatever, and you just had to be left with like, oh, whatever. And to be fair, our school had a pretty good variety of things. Like when you first walk in or whatever, you pick up a tray, and I think there was like a hot dinner of some kind, which was like a rotating meal throughout the week, which I basically never had. I don't know why. I never ended, or maybe it was a salad bar when you I think it might have been a salad bar when you first went in, or something like that. I don't remember. The layout is kind of like in my mind but fuzzy. And then at the far end, like immediately opposite the door you enter, because you actually enter through the fire exit, which is kind of like wild, I think. There is like the hot food area. That's where you get the fish and chips. I think it was like lasagna on Wednesday or something. I think there was a curry on one of the days. I don't remember. Anyway, I always skip that out because then you go to the counter to the right of that, and that's where you get the hot foods, which are like there consistently every day. That's where you get your paninis, the ham and cheese panini, the best panini, the tuna melt, it's okay. There's a pepperoni one, surprisingly bad from what I remember. And there's the absolute royalty of all the dishes, was something there called a pizza wrap, which I must imagine I've probably had like 1,000 during my time in school, and it was also probably insanely unhealthy. It literally is just a tortilla wrap with like tomato sauce, loads of cheese in it, just like folded up and grilled. It's so unbelievably unhealthy, but they were so cheap. Because I remember one of them, like when I was in year 7, I think they were 80p or something, and by the time I got to GCSE they were like £1, £1.10 maybe, I can't remember. Inflation and all that. And they were just so insanely cheap that it was like, yes, get them, grab them while they're there. And then in the island in the middle, that's where all the like desserts were. There were like the muffins, which were pretty good, but expensive. And there were the cookies. And the cookies were 50-50, top tier or terrible. Because when they were soft, they were amazing. They were like melt in your mouth sort of thing. And when they were hard, they were like break your teeth hard. And they were either one or the other. There was no sliding scale. It was one way or the other. That's the density of the cookies, and you couldn't tell by looking at them. Some people would swear by techniques, but I think most people just sort of like tried to pick them up, and then you'd feel them, and they'd be like, "Oh no, this batch is hard. Don't get the cookies." And they'd like jump on below whatever. I mean, they were still fine, I think, by the way, when they were hard or whatever. I can't remember for any other sweets. Like, these are the only things I remember, because these are the things I had most often. I remember that they had milk carton, like, oh yeah, like on the near side, that was where they had all their drinks. They had like this fizzy, carbonated drink, like a fizzy soda, I guess, which I never got because I didn't like fizzy drinks back then. I didn't like them now, so I never would have got. I always went for the flavoured milk. I alternated between banana and strawberry, because I think we had chocolate for a while, then they removed the chocolate milk. And then later on, I just got water all the time. But yeah, and then you go by the tills. I remember the canteen ladies, as we called them, would just like ring you up, just basically like a shopping till, and you paid. And I remember, actually, I completely forgot about this, but in the first few years I was in that secondary school, the high school, you had to actually pay by cash. You had to like bring in the right amount of coins in and change or whatever to give to them. So like you would know exactly how much your meal costs, and you would like give them money and they'd like give it back. There have been plenty of times where kids have gone in school and been like, oh, I forgot to ask my parents for lunch money or something like that, which is crazy now I think about it, because that's so common like in American what's the word, shows, right? Like, give me all your lunch money or whatever, stuff like that. But nowadays it surely doesn't exist anymore, because by the time I hit year 9, I think, they introduced a card system where everyone basically got a student card. There was like a machine in one of the buildings where you can go up and like an Oyster card, you tap it and you like put money in and it'll top it up. And then like later on, like the next year, I think they introduced the fact that parents could go onto the school website and top your lunch card up there for you, and like I think renew it as well. I don't really remember, something like that. I remember there was numerous times though, kids would like go to school and be like, oh, I forgot to get lunch money or whatever. But then you can go to the school nurse, and then she would like loan you money or whatever, something along those lines. I can't quite recall. Anyway, I was a very organised student, so I don't think I literally ever forgot money. And if I ever did forget money, I would always carry spare money with me. Because my parents trusted me enough to give me spare money, and I respected that trust enough by basically never buying things from stores after school. Because we had a Tesco's outside our school, not too far away, like on the high street or whatever. And like technically you're not meant to stop there and buy food like before or after. I think like, I don't know if it was literally illegal, but it was like against the school rules or something, which seems insane to be honest. Like, why, you want to stop kids having fun? I guess. What are they gonna do? They're gonna buy a candy bar. Okay, crazy. Wow, oh my god, they have like an extra Mars bar in their pocket when they go to school. I mean, they could just like bring one in. So like, if anything, the reason you're banning them should just be like, hey, you should be more prudent and buy a multi-pack from Costco or something. Which is probably how my family operated, which is maybe an insight into my psyche, if anything. Anyway, that's not the point. Yeah, so I always brought in extra money. My parents trusted me, and I had no desire actually to buy things from the Tesco after school. You might be like, what happened when you went to sixth form? Which is like later years of high school, I suppose. Well, then you had your own area, from what I recall. Like, we had like the sixth form lounge where they had like their own cafe essentially in, and that's where I got my lunches most of the time. And you were also allowed out in town, so no one in sixth form ever went to the cafeteria anymore, the school cafeteria anymore, unless you were a prefect and that was your lunchtime duty. Because as nice as the school cafeteria food is, the choices out of the high street are a lot better, mainly because those are Greggs, and the Greggs was really good. Anyway, most of my time in sixth form I actually ordered from the school cafe, because I don't know, I kind of liked it. Like, half the time I would have a sausage, 2 sausage rolls or 1 sausage roll or something like that, or I'd have a sausage roll plus millionaire shortbread if there was one. I still remember, like, I remember the baristas who actually worked on that cafe during the time we were there. I still remember their faces for some reason in my mind, because they're very, very, very nice. I don't remember their names though, so maybe I didn't know them as well as I thought I did. But like, you know, chat. Sometimes I remember what I want. I remember one of them, one time, got my order wrong. Like, I asked for a millionaire shortbread and they gave me a tiffin. Obviously, I was like, well, whatever. I mean, it's still a sweet treat and they're the same cost. I don't really care. I guess I'll take it. And then the next time, she did the same thing. I asked for a millionaire shortbread and she got me a tiffin. And then she, like, gave it to me. And then she looked at me and she went, like, wait a minute. I got it wrong last time. Like, you wanted a millionaire shortbread. And I was like, oh, yeah. But she put it back. Got me a millionaire shortbread. That's why. These are my very random school anecdotes which I remember of no consequence whatsoever. But I was like, oh, wow, okay. I remember that school cafe also had like pasta as well, which was also not very good pasta. It's like, I don't know how to describe it except for it's like those ready meal pastas essentially. And they, except for instead of having like meat of like mincemeat in them or something, they had pepperoni slices in. It was basically a pizza on top of pasta. I don't know why our school had so many pizza-related food items. The thing I do remember, though, is because when I started sixth form, they basically changed it up and they brought in a new company to provide the food. But when I was in high school, when I was in the lower years, the school food was different. Like, the staple food, instead of it being like this pasta pot thing, was like chicken and chips, I think. Like chicken goujons or whatever. And like chunky chips. Which, you know, if you were in sixth form and you bought like a box out and you're like on prefect duty, you were eating around and, you know, you had to like watch an area, you would get kids asking you all the time, myself included probably, to be like, hey, can I have a chip or something? You had a lot of power, unsurprisingly. It's amazing how easily swayed, even myself, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, kids can be with food, to be honest. Like, looking back, I didn't even care that much about the food. I think it was just because it was something different. It was like a sort of sign of exclusivity. If you were eating a chip, you're like, whoa, you can't get the chips on the school canteen. Well, I guess you can on Fish and Chip Friday, but still. It was mind-boggling. You don't get those chips. Anyway, by the time we started sixth form, I was like so looking forward to trying them, and then we didn't have them. And I was like, oh, okay. That's very sad. But the pasta pot was pretty good. I remember one time they also brought in pasta carbonara, and I tried it. It was really bad from what I recall. It was very terrible. They also had drinks there. Like, you get coffees and stuff there. I didn't drink coffee or tea back then. So, you know, I just had my water bottle, so Nothing lost on me there. I think I had a hot chocolate from there once. That's all I recall. Anyway, you might be like, what about when you went out into town, the high street to get foods? I started doing that in the later years. I don't know why I didn't do that, like, in the first year, to be honest. I don't know, like, support for school business or whatever. Maybe it's just convenient. But it was way better going out into the high street, to be honest. One, you get to actually, like, walk around a bit, which is nice. And two, the Greggs sausage rolls were cheaper and also nicer, from what I recall. Because the Greggs sausage rolls were 90p a piece. Excuse me, but the one in the school cafe was £1. To be fair, the school cafe one was bigger. But there's, I don't know how to describe it, except for it was, like, more deflated than one in Greggs. I remember that also people go to, like, Domino's sometimes. Like, on Friday or whatever, you can get personal pizzas for some price, which I don't remember. Trying to remember what else people went. There was a place, like a kebab house, which I sometimes went with a friend after school. Sometimes he would buy food there, and I'd like have some of his chips because he's very nice. He's someone who likes to eat food a lot, and he's also someone who's very generous. He likes to share his food as well. But then he got me on that train as well. So then sometimes after school I would go there and get the chips as well. There's also, they also had onion rings, which are pretty good. You got the deep fried mushrooms a couple of times. They were pretty good, but they were just packed full of boiling oil, as I remember. And we both bit into the first one and we went, ouch. Because we took a train together, which is why we weren't just like chilling. We were just like eating it on the way home. There was a Subway, I think, that opened up as well, which I went to like twice, I think, ever. What other food places were there? I mean, sometimes you just get a Tesco's meal deal, to be honest. I think a lot of times I also brought in packed lunches from home. And I remember I brought in, like, these homemade wraps or whatever. But they were, like, chunky. Because they were, like, the pre-made, like, sliced chicken boxes. I don't know why I used these, to be honest. But, like, these pre-made chicken boxes and then, like, assorted vegetables or whatever. So it's, like, the most expensive meat I could have bought. And then, like, the cheapest vegetables, which are, like, I mean, vegetables are cheap. Like lettuce or, like, onions or whatever in there. And just, like, a really, really chunky tortilla wrap. I wasn't even, like, bulking or anything or gymming. I don't know why I did that. It was also really expensive. Like, wraps were like it was like a £5 lunch or something, compared to some days where I'd just spend like £1 or £2 on lunch. So, anyway, I stopped doing that at some point. Because honestly, it's just a lot more convenient just to buy food there, mind you. Because then you don't have to think about prep, you know, the day before or the morning of. Don't have to remember to bring it in. Nothing worse than coming in and be like, I forgot my lunchbox for today. Really sad. Did that ever happen to me? Probably. Not that I often recall, to be honest. I feel like both me being rather organised and, you know, my parents being rather organised made that very infrequent, if anything. Yeah. I don't know, I just talked about school cafeteria lunches. I remember there was also pasta. You get plain pasta, or you could pay a little bit extra to get bolognese sauce on top. And one of my friends said, like, what's the point of getting bolognese sauce? You can just put ketchup sachets on it, because those ketchup sachets were free. They later became 5p each, I think, which was crazy, because it was such a nuisance to buy them. And it's insane. It's insane then, but insane now. Pasta with ketchup sauce, I suppose. Not to my tastes. Would I eat it? Yeah, I'd still eat it, I suppose. Like, I guess I don't fundamentally have anything wrong with it, but it's also like, even for me, a non-foodie, can appreciate a pasta bolognese more than I can appreciate a pasta ketchup dish. So I guess it just kind of surprised me, if anything. What I can say though, he was frugal and economic. He was also quite wealthy, now I think about it, so I don't know why he did that. What else? I don't know. Some people just have different tastes. There's also burgers you can get, like the cheapest burgers. Like, imagine sort of like McDonald's Saver Menu style burgers, except for worse. But they're also the type of burgers which I feel like I'm slightly nostalgic for. They're kind of like Rustler's burgers, which I only learnt of the existence of because of one of my friends. With like a, I don't know. You buy them. I always used to get like mayo sachets as well, I think. I'm trying to think what else there was in the canteen. Because I didn't really branch out much from the food I had. Once I, you know, try things, I mean, I'm just like, okay, I found a thing I like. And it was pizza wraps. I just like have out all the time. Because the pizza wraps were just economical. The paninis, I remember, £1.80 went up to £1.95. Or no, I think they might have gone up to £2 something when I was in my later years. But pizza wraps, £1. You can get 2 pizza wraps or panini. If you forgo over cookie, you can have 3 pizza wraps. Is that a healthy meal? No. It's one of the most unhealthy meals ever. But it carried me, I guess, through secondary school. Vivian, Rowan, I'm not sure you should talk to each other anymore. You first made each other incredibly sad and then incredibly mad. What is going on? Anyway, that's what happened. School cafeteria lunches, I guess. I guess that's what I'm talking about. Any other crazy things? Any other crazy revolutionary things which happened during the school lunch? Meals? None that I can think of. None that I can think of at all. I'm just surprised at how few times I ended up having the hot lunches, as it was called, like the fish and chips or the curry or the lasagna. I don't know why. I guess I just liked what I liked. Or maybe it's you know what it probably was? It's probably because there's hot meals, so probably like £3 something. And I was like, I could get a free pizza wrap. So wrong way to think about things, I think, but understandable all the same. Anyway, I guess I'll round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Is it stopping recording? No? No, it didn't.